That's okay. So what we do whenever there's an issue, we always have our backup recording, so we'll
Okay,
make sure to get that to you. So
thank you. Okay,
no worries at all.
okay then. Okay, so,
Go ahead.
uh, okay, so I'm here. Steve, it's always nice to have a good chat with you, always. Um, yes, and I'm here, as you know, it's so important for me to, I've got this great idea or this crazy idea about trying to make this world better with teaching about money because it's a topic nobody wants to talk about, especially about families and with my experience and career, it's always the same thing is, well, I haven't learned it because they didn't teach me in school. Well, although this is my dream is to teach in school, I don't think this is where it should start. I think it should start in the families. It should start, and this is where I realized that I had this great gift from my parents. We always talked about money, and I think it came from because of what happened when I was young with my family, that my dad actually had a big accident, and my mom, he was a business owner, and my mom had to support us. And she actually, although they had a nice home and they were doing well, a small, tiny home, I would say, and they were doing well. When my dad was actually in the hospital and we didn't know how long, my mom went to seek for help, and they said, well, we can't help you because you've got your home that is paid for, so we can't lend you money. Well, you don't have any income, you don't we don't know how you're going to repay us, so we'll sell your home and then we can help you. Well, you don't sell your home overnight. So it came up that my uncle helped us, and my dad survived where he was supposed to die. And he taught us that how important and the value of money and how to do this. I don't know if anyone heard of the 20, 30, 50 rules, which I learned, which is in the book. Okay. And I come to you guys because I want to do better. I want to be able to engage. And as you know, Steve, because we've been working together, I want to make sure this book is the very best out there because it's the second edition and the second version. The first version, actually, I do have questions and I do need help to know. The main reason why I had decided at the beginning to do a second edition is that when I got remarried, my name is no longer, it was Amyot at the time, Amyot. So if you search my first book that was actually launched in 2008, it's under that name. And if you look underneath, you would follow Robert Kiyosaki, because Robert actually wrote a book who took my money about um, investing, which is totally different, in 2012. So a couple of years after. So I don't know how to remove the follow from this one. I don't know if I should just, I don't know what's happening with this book. I had a little bit of success with that book, but personally, because I have about 20,000 copies out there, but it's mostly in Canada, I would say. Okay. And it has created maybe a portion of my success because as a mortgage agent and financial coach, I would give it to my clients, and then people would call me and would want some more, or I would actually sell, or they would find out how to get more copies of it. Um, reason
Let me
why,
just interject for a second, and I want to ask you a couple questions so that we can best help you here. So I think on something like that, the nuance there with the Amazon, I definitely think, talking to Christina, I know you've been talking to Christina from
yes,
the team. Um, One thing that might be helpful for people to realize too is that you don't you typically can't copyright titles. So there are titles, there could be titles of books, there could be a couple of different books who took my money, right? One by Robert Kiyosaki, one by you, one by somebody else. But what's important is that you are making your book look unique and getting your book out there. You're
yes,
really good at teaching practical things through story and just through tips that you give. Give a few examples of some of how you make this easy, like a game, or just real practical, like you have your pouch. So like if just give people, especially for people that are listening here and they haven't seen the book, some of the ways you make saving money and understanding money easy.
Well, depending on where they are in their life, is it because they want is it because, they have a debt problem, or let's say they don't have problem, but they just want to be better with um, with their money, I would say is to use, say, well, I think I'm good with my money, but I'm not sure, is do you apply the 20, 30, 50 rules? And most people will say, what is this 20, 30, 50 rules? I'd say, do you have a 20% saving? Okay, saving is including, it includes emergency, anything that you put your money away, that this money is going to make babies. Okay, so in interest. And then the 30% is your wants. And if you're in loads and debts, well, there's no more wants because you have to repay these debts first, right? So I teach those. And the 50% is the needs. And what is a need? You need transportation. Well, a car is a car. You don't need a $250,000 car to go from point A to point B. If you have the extra money and that's what you want, that's fine. But you know what I mean is you have to know within your means, and you have to teach that to so the needs are your transportation, clothing, food, and shelter. Okay, shelter, of course, I'm a mortgage agent, right? So the shelter is a big issue in my career and my life, because I have to teach them that how do you get your dream home, and different ways of getting your dream homes. So
What's one more tip that you give that people enjoy that they say, wow, that's really good?
To understand from a very young age what it means to the power of 8. Do you know what the power of 8?
The power of 8. Explain.
That actually came from Albert Einstein. Okay, understanding that if you have $100, okay, and you actually put this $100 to work for you, so basically everybody wants a business, so well, your first employee should be your money. Okay, so this is a one way. You take that $100, you put it to good use, so you make him you invest that money. Well, that money is going to actually compound. It's going to compound by itself. Okay, and it's going to make, so I do give some example about those, and I teach with visual. I teach a lot with visual. I have props, I have all kinds of stuff, and as you said, Steve, I have my little money pouch that is here right now, this
And
little
what do you,
money pouch. And
and
so
yeah, explain how that works, what that is.
actually, I have a story to tell you about this. Is my grandson is here this weekend, and he came to my studio because I'm in my studio, and he came in and says, "Mommy, you got a money pouch?" Because he's so proud of his money pouch. And I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, you gave me the money pouch." I said, "Yes, but I have one too, because I also have to save my money just like you." He says, "Oh, okay," because he's so proud of his money pouch, and he's 6 years old, and he explained to his friends at school that he has a money pouch and what it does, and his grandmother gave him a money pouch. So it's to teach them the saving part of it, and to put what they want. They need a goal, and then with this goal, how to achieve it. And they have to make sure that, and they calculate, and they do all kinds. So I do this with my 5 grandchildren as a practice. So basically they're my guinea pigs.
So, and there's somebody in chat just said, I'm still confused about the power of 8. Just explain that a little bit,
Okay.
because something kind of went out, maybe the connection for her slightly. So share what is the power of 8?
The power of 8 is the compounding interest. That's what they call, you got the 7 world, the 7 wonders of the world.
Modern,
Well,
right?
then Albert Einstein decided that there was an eighth one, which was the power of money. If you invest your money, the money is going to actually create it overnight. It's passive, so it's going to create. So basically, if someone wants to retire without having to work at retirement, that's what retirement is supposed to be, is to actually put some money away. So this money will actually compound and be able to be your next job, basically.
Great. Good. So what's a key question we could answer for you? One or two questions you'd love to get feedback on?
Well, the first thing is, I think I love, and I still want to keep my title, Who Took My Money? Okay. We're debating because there was, my first book was, it was actually Break Free from Debt Slavery, but the second version, which is a true story, as I said, about the grandfather teaching his grandson. And so the second version is the grandson is now older, and it's a conversation between them with all tips and tricks about, and you read it, Stephen, so
Mhm.
you should. So basically, should I have a subtitle, not a subtitle? And is it, is there anything to make it more appealing or more better for the cover? And especially the back cover, I'm not sure about. And is there anything I can do to improve? Because I definitely, my mission and goal is to be able to empower people to understand and make their life better, because we all have to deal with money, okay? Whether we like it or not, we all have to do, we could all do better as we know. And are we happy with what we do with our money? And how can we improve? How can I make these young families, have a better life by sharing, and not having taboo with the
So
word.
we'll go to Jack and Patty in a second, get their feedback. Now, you also, at the same time, you've been pretty strongly, and it's okay, you got to be kind of strong about what you want, is you really like that cover. You haven't really wanted to change it very much, right?
I tried all kinds of stuff, and everybody comes back to wanting to, or saying that the cover, because as you know, I was on the ship in the British Island just a few weeks ago when you asked me, and I went around all of the ship and asked them, and I had the two covers, and I asked them, I explained to them what I was doing, and some of them they're just waiting to get the book out, and they all said that it seemed to be better. They loved it, Who Took My Money, and they loved the cover that actually it has different faces of, and it looks like it has different people of different nationality on it,
Okay, good. So for people who can't read what it says in the back, Who Took My Money? Break Free from Debt Slavery is the subtitle.
That
You've
was
got,
the first one. The second one was How Do I Get It Back, that I had as a subtitle because
So
it's a second edition.
right, so
Right.
it could be Who Took My Money? How do I get it back? I think it was Deborah said, Who Took My Money? How to Put More in Your Own Pocket. That's not bad. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah.
So Jack, what are your thoughts about just some of the things you shared?
Well, I think that Who Took My Money, How to Get Out of Debt Slavery doesn't cover the entire focus of the book.
No, I
It's
agree.
more than that. In other words, a lot of people will tell you, if you've got debt, take your lowest credit card, pay that off first. There's things about that, but you're really providing a lot more financial education than that. And I'm noticing, let me see here. Hold on, because I have a cover that you sent me. Hold on. Let me pull it up. Uncover timeless secrets to mastering money, shielding it from those who seek to claim it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's below there. I think that's I think that's more valuable information.
okay.
You got another one that says the same thing. Yeah. So I think that's better than just debt slavery. So it gives us the whole aspect because you're teaching a lot of things. I mean, anyone who doesn't know much about money, we all suffer from financial illiteracy in both of our countries. They're not taught about it in school. And so if your parents taught you either by you grew up with them and you learned it kind of easily because you were in the environment of it, or whether someone sat you down and actually educated you, these are the things that you need to know. And so I think that that's a better, subtitle, if you will. And I liked it. I read a lot of your manuscript and I thought it was well written, easy to understand, very clear examples. Let me see if I wrote down anything else that I wanted to bring up for you.
How can I actually get people to get involved to, or, to buy this book, to see that there's a value to them, because we all need to learn about money, right? And nobody, I mean, it's something that nobody wants. It's
Yeah,
a
I think, one of the things that Leonie Rosenstiel does really well in her book, and she's in the group here, but I was reading it last night, is she tells all these horror stories of what happened to people who didn't know what they were doing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
and I think if you go on radio and podcasts and those kind of things and talk about how, because people didn't know, I mean, when I was a young man, someone talked to me about annuities and you should be putting 20% of your income away. And I didn't do it. And I'd have many more millions of dollars now if I had. And, I was just wanting to buy the next cool place to go and, the TV set and all the stuff you talk about, a car is just transportation unless you're trying to impress somebody. But the point being that I think young people are not being educated. I think I would really talk to teachers about how to maybe get this into some classrooms and things like that. But I just tell about people who didn't save, who allowed their money to be taken fraudulently. I think you talk about that in your book as well. So I think that, more of that so that people go, oh my God, I better pay attention here. It's like seeing somebody with scabs all over their body and you go, gee, I want to avoid that, So I think that would be a good way to approach this. But the thing with all of you guys is that you've got to go out there and promote the book. And then you ask, so where are the eyeballs and ears of the people who most need this or who are looking for it already? And so it's kind of, someone once said to me, there's two kind of sales. Somebody wants a car, you don't have to sell them on that. But what you and I are involved in is missionary sales. A lot of us are here, we're teaching people something they're not necessarily looking for. We're teaching meditation, awareness, mindfulness, but they weren't out there looking for it. They didn't wake up going, I need a mindfulness trainer, so they're not searching for that. So, and I think the same thing is true with financial literacy, but I think you can make people realize how important it is through.
How? That's what I've been searching. That's a secret.
Oh, no, it's getting out there and maybe writing an article for a local newspaper or being on a podcast. And there's a lot of podcasts about money, and some of them are already teaching what you're teaching, but a lot of people, there might be podcasts for newlyweds, for young married people, for new parents, a lot of places where people that need what you're teaching to go. And I would say, you could literally go online and, Patty has been working a lot with AI recently, and you could say things like, if I were promoting a book on financial literacy, where should I be talking about that? And you'd be surprised what might come up. And I think there's a lot more venues for you to speak to, and maybe start a little newsletter for people or a podcast where every week you give one idea. Like
I've got that. I just started this.
Good.
Yeah, one idea every week. And what I do is with that idea is always two choices. Like, for example, I'll give you one is you want to buy a house, right? Okay, so you've got, and everybody has the idea of the first home being, this beautiful, nice home with 4 bedrooms, and that's what you've been dreaming about, okay? Or you want, but you haven't been dreaming about this big house. What you really want is this small nice house with your 2 children and your dog, and then everybody's laughing in the backyard, and you've got this, everything is beautiful, nice, it's smaller, but you're happy. Okay, do you want to be living in this big mansion all alone, or you want this? So which one do you really want? And people really realize, oh, that's really what I want. Same thing with the car. It's usually we tend to get something to impress other people. It's not really what we want. And that's what the point of the book is. Who took my money? Is I wanted to impress my neighbor. So I went and purchased this instead of what I really wanted and what was really my dream. So that's basically what I'd like to teach.
There was a quote I read in the last few days with your books. It probably was in yours. It was from Will Rogers. I think he said, we spend money we don't have to buy things we don't need to impress
Exactly.
people we don't really care about.
Exactly. That's my, yeah.
That's what happens. I'll give you another thought. We had a real estate agent once who basically started running classes for women, single women, on how to buy their first home. And what happened was she'd do these classes for free. And then when people decided to buy a home, they would go to her because she'd already offered them value. So you might think about, who is out there like that you could offer a free class for, free webinar, a free telesummit, whatever, and then basically sell your book to them and and then I don't know if you're doing any kind of financial consulting, but if you are, then they could hire you, become a client of yours, whatever. But I'm a big fan of free webinars to lead people to your more, it's like that free, then something that's not cost a lot of money, it's called your book. And then there's a subscription service, and then it can hire you as a financial planner and so forth, so that you're going up that funnel. But I think, things like that. And I think a lot of, young people, I think women, newly divorced women who don't know much. My mother did not know how to write a check when my dad divorced her. Didn't know how to write a check. She didn't have a checkbook. She didn't have a car. She didn't know how to drive, So it's like, I think there's a lot of people out there all of a sudden like, oh shit, what do I do now?
Yeah.
The other thing is that, I want, we'll get Patty's thoughts here in a second, but I think, financial advisors, right? They would love to have their people saving more money because there'd be more money for them to manage. So your book would be a perfect giveaway. Hey, why don't you buy copies of my book, send it to your clients for the holidays as a gift. We could put, with a letter from you, if you order enough copies, if they're a big company, they can put their logo on it. But you're always trying to look for who are the people who want to preach the message that you have? Who are the people who really could go to their folks and give your book away as a thank you gift? Maybe, financial advisors, they want word of mouth referrals. So maybe they can send a couple copies, say, listen, we're willing to give this book to any child or grandchild or of yours, anybody in your family. We're trying to educate, more people on what to do with their money. And so, gosh, now that person might say, hey, I'd love a copy of that for my grandson. You could send people 2 books, but you're giving that financial advisor a tool, something that they can kind of deepen the relationship with their clients and get more word of mouth referrals. Patty, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm still a little confused about who your target audience is, because you said that you wanted it to be kids, but then the
No,
cover,
there's a kid. No, there's one for the kids. There's
Yeah.
one
and that one I saw on your website. Show that again. Hold it up and talk.
here. It says Alex with money. That's the teaching kids. The first version is actually very different. That was the one I created last year, and I gave to my grandchildren, and it has all their names. So that's a teaching for the kids. Okay, so
Right.
that's a book by itself.
So I see, and I looked at all the different things that you want to do on your website. So you have to have that kids book in English too.
Yes, it's translated in both. It's not finished, this one, because that's what I came in here for too, is to try to find a good illustrator because I tried with AI, and the little Alex is not looking the same in every picture. So
I like that last one. I thought he looked really cute.
yeah, he is cute, and I want him to look the same everywhere, you know, as it doesn't happen. So Steve and I have been trying to find a way, and what I did is just before the end of the school is I gave a little promotion to all the high school student to do. I would give $100,000 to any student that would come up, the winner, so they would apply for a competition to do the drawing, show me a couple of drawings that you can do, show them, but only 2 students applied. So, and one seemed to be good, but the other one is not gonna make it. So I don't know what's gonna happen with this, so.
But Monique, one of the things that we did for the exact same thing was we went to an art, students in the university that were art students.
Okay, that's
Contest
what I
like
should
that.
do.
And
And
we
I
got-
tried that, but nobody applied. And I'm giving a $1,000 scholarship, and nobody applied for it. So I don't know why, but it
So-
didn't work out. So I'm a little clueless there what to do.
So
So,
I just wanted to talk about a couple of your sound bites that I got from you.
okay,
So if you invest your money now, it's basically your next job. And
Yep.
how you talked about debt steals your tomorrows.
mhm,
So I think you should, the kids book should, I bet you the kids book is going to be a huge awareness for parents.
mhm. Yes,
And
because
so
it's
then-
teaching 4 things.
Right. And then I looked at your outline of your $199 program, and that could easily be by the program here, because programs, especially if you have it online, they make you money. You invest in them once and they just sell over and over and over again.
And I don't know how to do those. So,
Well, that's easy to do if you just
Okay.
get the right people. And then I think too, what else did you say that? So one of the other ways I think that you could promote the kids book is when you're working with your clients. I mean, the kids book could be a lead gen for you for your own financial business and the mortgage business.
yeah, well, the other one has been, like, I've got 20,000 copies of the first one, the first version of 2008 out there. And it's been, like, I've been very successful. I've been top mortgage broker in Canada for almost 20 years. And I would say it's thanks to teaching with my heart, and also doing my financial teaching, which I would give away all the time. I never made money there. Where I made my money was with my mortgage broker. So that was all giveaway, but it built the confidence that people would come to me, just like Jack said before, is people would say, well, like, I know Monique's gonna help me with this because she's great, and she's been giving me great advice. And so,
I think and you could probably work with Steve on this from a marketing standpoint when you're talking about any one of your books,
okay,
sound bites, 60 seconds, no more, and get really like, what if you could retire at 40 because life's too short to work that hard and that long?
yeah,
Now you have all these millennials and the kids coming out of school that they don't want to work hard for very long.
exactly. Yeah.
They don't want to work hard, period. So,
Right,
if you work with him on things like that, tips to buy your dream home and still retire at this age, like you kind of have to give them what they want.
exactly.
And
Yes.
so, and I do think that debt steals your tomorrows is a great little, so these little tiny bites where people are like, wait, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
And then you can say, do you realize that there's something called the power of 8, or little tips that you can just
Mhm.
get out there whenever you want in videos, I think would be really helpful for you to promote it more. And the 20,000 books that you have sold, did all those sell through Amazon at CA, or did you give them away, or how did it work?
Amazon, I didn't do those 20,000 books. I gave, like, the example that Steve gave, I already did. I went to see all the financial planner and I gave them like 10, I gave them 100 books each. And I went to some schools and I gave them books to pass along to you. So most of Canada's university has, especially around the Ottawa region, this book is everywhere. Okay, my first version. And it's both in French and English. I would say my French version did better in the Quebec for some reason. It
It's
did
it's a niche market and
I
there's
don't
less
know.
things that are being
Well, there's a
offered.
lot of debt there.
Well, it's also a niche market where there's probably not a lot of women talking about financial literacy.
Maybe.
So when you find that that happens, you definitely want to speak to that. That's feedback. What else do they need? One of the things that would be interesting, and we did this with Jack spoke with the success principles, we put a blow-in card in it. And
A
it
what?
just, a blow-in card, like, you know, those cards, like the magazine. Jack, do you have a book that you can, I don't have one here. I'm not at the house.
It was a CD in the
Think of-
first one.
Think
but-
of any magazine you buy, and there's usually something you can rip out or it falls out. It
Oh, yeah.
says, subscribe to this or whatever. So the problem with giving away books is you don't know who read it. You know, it's not building your list. So if you have a little, like, it's about the size of a postcard that they can fill out and then send back to you, or it can be a
I
QR
get
code.
something back to.
Yeah, because you've got people reading your book who are falling in love with you and your information, but you don't know who they are. So you're not building your list. So basically having something, either what we call an ethical bribe, which is if you come to my website, you can get the 10 biggest mistakes people make in their financial planning or something like that. And that's a downloadable thing, but they have to put their email address in order to get that, because it's going to be mailed to them automatically. Or if it's a book they pick up somewhere, like, like you're handed out from some financial planner, there's a little card in there, like a postcard size, that says, mail this back and I will send you, this thing, or I'll add you to my mailing list, or you'll become a member of my newsletter, or whatever it might be. So you're collecting names, because we had millions of people reading our Chicken Soup for the Soul books, but our publisher was collecting all these names and he wouldn't share them with us. He thought somehow we were going to, I don't know what he thought, but the point is, with the success principles, we put a blow-in card, and we got like 100,000 people write into us and say, yeah, I want your, we were giving away a free teacher's guide for a 6-week class that you could do at your company, your church, your school, whatever. They just go online and told them how to run people through exercises. But
I
anything,
do have that. I do have that in the book. If you look at the end, okay?
I would do it at the end though, Monique. I would literally, but no, because what if
Okay,
they don't get to the end? But if you have one strong free offer and it's literally a blow-on card, they can't miss it. And it will also, if that one strong offer is, if you want your kids to know more about this, opt in here, or like make sure it's a message that's like, I wanted to know who wanted to teach the success principles in their offices or at, as a job or in a church. Because once I knew that, I knew at some point we were going to want to create a program for people to get certified in the success principles, to go teach it. So that list was so powerful, because it was, everybody raised their hand like, yes, I want this. So I knew that they were interested. So they're a lot warmer than just come and get a free bunny. I don't know what they want. I also think that if you put a package together for little kids, like your grandson saying, you have a money pouch shoe.
It's exactly what I have.
That could be a really good PBS program, because that's the demographic, where the grandparents are watching. And if a lot of the parents are too busy being, showing up like the Joneses, but the grandparents have learned the hard lesson. And if they could teach it to the grandkids, they would do that.
That's my dream, because I'm a grandparent. I want, I want to build that community where the grandparents, and it's funny you're saying that, Patty, because I have 2 of my good friends says, when is your book coming out? So the word is already out that they really want this kids book more than the other one, because they want the kids to get this. And I think I'm on the right path there. It's just that I've got the content, but I need the pictures now, for that one. And I also need your help. That's why I'm here on this retreat, to make the best of me, to be able to, what I've got within, to that it's transporting, and that I attract the people that wants to help me make these kids understand, give our kids the best possible ground that they can have, so they don't have to struggle in life,
I think I'd start with the grandparents talking to their grandkids, because grandkids listen to their grandparents.
Yes.
And you have a huge amount of influence on. My grandmother always said to me, I had a guy that was he was the president of a bank when I was making a ton of money in my 30s. And he said, yeah, anybody can make it. Call me in 50 years and let me know if you still have it. Then I'll be impressed. And I went, ugh. I mean, that stung, it's like, okay, note to self. And so, and then you could, once you start to open that up, and then have the kids send in their stories, or have parents send in, how did your kids like this? Ask them for how it helped them do things. So everybody, Steve always says this, everybody wants to tell their story. So if
Hey,
you
I've got
ask
an idea.
them,
Tell me what it, so in the book, in my older books, say, okay, that they can have a bonus from the child's book, okay? And then also, if you send a story, you get the children's book. If you send your story, okay, you can have the children's books for free or something. What do you think?
I think I would just say, share your story, or what did you learn? And I don't know, I might say, because the parent's probably going to have to opt in, not the young child, but you'll get the first 2 chapters of my book for adults for free.
Okay.
Reverse engineer it and see if it works.
Or just a little snip, like Steve was telling me, because he's really, really guiding me and helping me on making this work really well. And yeah, I think it would make, the free sample, because I'm already, I gave everything away, as I said, for when it comes to the book and the challenge and the teaching. Like, if you were almost every client of mine actually did some coaching with me, financial coaching, and because I do provide this as a free bonus if you're my client, if you become my client. And that's where the word of mouth say, hey, listen, you're gonna get a lot more from Monique than just getting your house. You're gonna get this, you're gonna, so the word of mouth got there, and that's how I got my success in my industry. But now I want to reverse it, which I'm tired of doing mortgages. I want to leave this to my, to my younger generation, which is my family. And I want to focus on teaching the children to up to the, to teenagers to do this.
The other option I would think too that might work for you is to teach other agents, or other mortgage agents, on how to teach your course, and say, look, I got really successful because I was serving them on 2 levels, not just getting their mortgage, but also how to get out of debt and stay out of debt, things like that.
I missed an hour of our retreat because I was on the master class. I was teaching. I'm teaching the entire Canada on mortgage agent every month on. It's called a master class series. Yeah.
You're recording all those, right?
They're recording it. Yes.
Right, and then you can transcribe those. And then you can work with Steve to create the course, because now you'll have all the content and you can shoot it in a really professional manner and help, create the workbooks and everything else. And then you'll have that course done. And then it's scalable and anybody can buy it, and you're not having to teach it over and over again.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if Mortgage Alliance will let me do that though, because it's specific to our mortgage industry,
That's what I'm talking about though. What if all those mortgage people that are on the master class, they could buy your course that's
they
recorded,
want to
watch it in their own time? They're asking for it. Yeah.
Well, they don't have to buy it. They get it free every month, right?
Right now they do, because you're testing out your content, but Steve's going to get you to put a price on it before you know it. So stay tuned for more.
Okay, we'll see. Okay, maybe for the other.
When you're doing the training for the mortgage, what you did today for the mortgage brokers,
Yes.
are you talking more about how to be a mortgage broker, or are you talking about this who took my money stuff?
the success of being a mortgage broker. And actually, I would say I get a good portion on this, why I wrote this book and what it's giving. And so already like today in the masterclass, I had people that said, when is it coming out?
Good, good.
So
So, I mean, you could always, so one of the concepts here that's important is how do you build your list, right? So like Patty and Jack had a blow-in card in their book. Now, I don't know if Amazon will allow people to do that because so many books now are print on demand, and I'm
Yeah.
not sure you can have a blow-in card with Amazon. But if you anytime you give a book away or people buy a book from you or whatever, you want to have something in there if you can, a flyer, a card or something.
okay,
But all of you definitely want to have an offer. In fact, the ideal way to do it on your next book is a front of book offer and a back of book offer. So
okay,
if
so we have to
Monique
work on
had,
that.
there's a guy who gets 10% of the names of the people, because to Patty's point, when you buy a book, when someone buys a book on Amazon, you don't get their name. They don't get on your email address.
Right.
But there's a guy named John Lee Dumas who gets about 10% of people who buy his book. They get on his email list. Why? Because the very beginning of the book, he says, thanks for buying my book. I'd love to give you a free copy of the audiobook. And just go here, send me your email. And so he gets all these, people opting in. And at the back, you could have your money pouch, or, you could have a bunch of things. So you want to be thinking, and as Jack said earlier, throughout the book, hey, for like Robert Allen has the book, Multiple Streams of Income, and he'll show different things like the
Yes.
money tracker, and he'll say, for your
Right.
own copy of the money tracker, go here. So go to my website and you'll be able to download this.
Got a few of those, if you remember, right?
Yeah, I'm saying it. I know I'm not saying it just for you. I'm saying it for everybody here as
Okay.
well. And do you have a front of book offer?
No, that would be
Okay.
great to
All
put
right.
it there. Okay,
All
we
right.
have to think about
So,
that.
so as good and as great as you are, even you can do a little bit better. And that's why you're here, right? I say that's why we're just talking about, a lot of times these concepts are how can we apply them better?
Yes,
Similarly, like for example, Monique, you should look at when you're doing this training that you did earlier today, how could you ethically, without violating any understanding that you have with the person that's the head of the organization, but what could you offer so that more people are getting on your list so that you could frankly communicate with some of them? And because I could see you, I mean, a lot of these people you're teaching would want to follow you and get on your list if you offered them something. And you could offer to do a training for their people, their clients, because this was a way where you sold houses. You said, listen, I let me train some of your people. You could do a weekly Zoom call for their prospects, just to learn about money. And you're good and passionate and
love that.
telegenic about teaching this.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, so maybe, doing that. Okay.
Could you also just say, so like the people today, this happens a lot, it's gonna happen more and more. Oh, when's your book coming out? I really want it. You know what? I hope it comes out as soon as possible, but the first chapter is available on my website. And if you just opt in, you can at least grab the first chapter and start going along.
I love that.
So that way you're not missing anything, because so often it's like, oh, I'll send you this when it's ready. And we're
Okay,
not going to do that necessarily. So it's really important to start thinking in parallel processes about your marketing and
okay,
your messaging as you go. So, yeah, make sure you start to do that, and it'll be a lot easier, but
Okay.
keep on doing it and do it for anybody that will listen.
okay, and I'd love to be able to share my back of the book to see, I'm still not confident that it's the best it could be. And I'd like to have some ideas, some feedback on how it would be good. I love Steve's idea to put what you just said to make it better. So I just want to make it as best as it could be. And,
Yeah.
I don't consider myself an author. Maybe I should soon, but I
Well,
want it to be the very best it could be to
Good.
have the message out there,
Good. Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a break for lunch, but Jack, we come back. If you could just show the slide, you've got a good slide of somebody who attended one of our retreats, who's got Renee, who's got the QR code at the back of her book. Would you be able just to queue up that slide, Jack, when we come back
I
in like an
think so.
hour?
Yeah, I gotta go look
Okay.
for it, but I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so we're
Okay.
gonna come back. We'll give you an hour and 15 minutes for lunch. So you come back at 5:00, just say 5:03 Eastern, whatever that is your time. 5:03